Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector, and happy Mother's Day once again to all the mothers out there. Hopefully you've been able to enjoy your flowers, your dinners, your brunches and lunches, and it's been all good for you and your fam. I spent some time out in the field today, and it's a bit interesting what I'm noticing. And I'm not sure if this is just a reflection of the economy, or I'm just not sure if folks are interested as much anymore in things like going out to eat, doing frivolous shopping, spending. This Mother's Day just seemed a little bit different from last year. I remember last year the streets being filled with folks buying flowers, gifts, chocolates, candy. The malls were overran, the stores were packed, but it just didn't seem that way this weekend. I'm not too sure. And I got to go out both on Saturday and on Sunday, but didn't really notice too much activity out there. And I understand that right now we're in a bit more challenging times, and they're saying that economists anyway are saying that the effects of inflation are finally starting to catch up to retailers, meaning that whereas before, even though we knew that things weren't as good, I think now the average consumer is actually realizing it and feeling it in their pockets, so much so that they are changing their spending habits, and we're not doing as much frivolous spending. Now, I took the opportunity to go to just a couple of my local spots, including a local GameStop, as well as a local thrift store that I usually frequent. And it was kind of interesting when I got there. When I first got there, I was a little excited because I thought that I was going to be able to take advantage of what looked like a good selection of PlayStation 2 games. But unfortunately, the bulk of those games were all water damaged. So that was a bummer, not really being able to pick up those games because they were damaged. And I mean, it wasn't just a small amount of water damage. I mean, those games must have been parked in water somewhere. It was pretty bad. Even the discs were heavily damaged. The artwork that's usually on the CD, like that was missing in patches on some of the discs. It was just pretty bad. And so the selection was not that great, but I saw something interesting that I kind of want to talk about at a higher level. So, when everything happened, in terms of the pandemic and things like that, we saw that companies were still continuing to increase prices everywhere, right? So gas was getting higher, food was getting higher, eggs, and then just, everything was increasing. And that also included video games, right? So we saw prices for video games inflate. Not just online, not just, with eBay sellers and things like that, but even more of your Goodwills and things like that. They were raising the prices. And I spent some time at the thrift store today, and they had, it was unfortunate because a part of me believes that had I gotten there earlier, I might have been able to take advantage of some better games. There might have been a better selection. But the store itself, the thrift store itself, I can tell that they're starting to price games individually based on how much they think they're worth. Because, while a lot of the more common games were priced at like $3 and $2 and $4, if it was a game that looked like it was worth a little bit more, they were pricing it higher. So there was like a PSP game that they had there that was complete in box, and even though it's not that amazing of a PSP game, they priced that one at $15, while the others were priced at $4. And then they also had these packets of Game Boy games, and when I saw the packets, I was like, okay, cool, because they sell them sometimes in like packs of 3. And I asked to take a look at them, and as I'm looking at some of these Game Boy games, I'm realizing that For the most part, each of the games in the packet, they were all sports games. So it was like Madden 94, Madden 95, Madden 96, 97. I think one of them had Blitz. The only like non-sports game that I saw was Grand Theft Auto on the Game Boy Color, which is fine. But then when I finally, turned the packets of games over to look at the price, they were all priced at $49.99. And I was really blown away. I was like, why are these 3 sports games being packaged together and priced at $49.99? Who do they think is going to buy this stuff? And it just was just a reminder to me of where we're at in terms of the economy, and why things are slowing down. And it's because retailers don't understand that folks are not willing to spend the type of money that we were willing to spend before on non-essential items like video games, like Starbucks coffee, like, the little trinkets that you might buy at IKEA. A lot of us are just being more, dollar sensitive to some of these things. Now, I did go ahead and take advantage and pick up some games because they did have a good selection of common games, I would say. None of these games are exclusive or anything like that. I was pretty stoked to find a copy of Marvel Superheroes, the Lego version, sealed on the Xbox. So that was pretty cool. I definitely picked that up. They had a few others, and it was good. But the thing is just seeing the change in the pricing is the thing that was most shocking and most jarring to me. And I'm not really sure what the future holds when it comes to retro games. It's really going to be interesting to see what the pricing looks like throughout the end of 2024 when it comes to just being able to shop for these games out in the wild. Mic check 1 2. So not the best pickups in the world, but some of these games have a little bit of value. Picked up Batman 3 Beyond Gotham on the PlayStation 3. This is like a $10 to $12 game. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. This game surprisingly averages around $20 for this game. Not really sure why. Don't know if it has a high sell-through rate, but pretty good value on that. I got the iToy Play. I know this game is probably worthless, but I haven't run across many games that I can use with the actual iToy that I have. I actually have an iToy for the PlayStation 2, and I've always wanted to try it out just for nostalgia's sake, so now I actually have a game I can use with it. Sonic Sega All-Stars Rally Racing for about $3.50, so that's not bad. Uncharted 4 for $3.50, and then a sealed copy of Marvel Superheroes, the Lego version, of course. All these games for $21. I'm not too mad. Can't be too mad at it. Now, for me, when it comes to the games that I'll be picking up in the future, I'm starting to lean away from the in-store shopping experience. Just because based on what I'm seeing, I don't really know if there's much of an advantage when it comes to buying games in stores versus just shopping for them online. A lot of the games that I'm seeing in the game stores, they rival eBay prices, they rival Mercari prices, and in a lot of cases, they're even more, which kind of makes sense because, they're trying to recoup some of that cost for having a brick and mortar store, for having a physical location where they're charged rent. A lot of your eBay sellers and Mercari sellers and online sellers, they have more flexibility and more wiggle room to reduce their prices because they don't have that type of overhead. The only thing that they have to worry about is their acquisition cost, or what it costs them to actually buy the games that they're trying to sell. And I think we're going into our final round, so to speak, of sellers selling the games that they got at lower prices, because I don't think sellers who sell games are going to be able to acquire back, inventory at the same prices that they were getting before. So the sun might be setting on this hobby. Not the hobby as in general, but just the mass reselling and the mass, number of sellers that are out there just trying to profit off of retro video games out there in the wild. And I think the whole tide is gonna lift. It's just going to be even more expensive all around. And I'm interested to know what it is you're thinking out there. Do you think it's still worth it to go to a retro game store outside of a sale or a promotion? Are you seeing that the prices are lower than what you can pay online? Or do you think that the prices that we have out there in the wild are pretty much the same as what you're going to see when you shop online? I'm interested to know your thoughts. It's been a very interesting weekend, to say the least. Not too many rather, crazy pickups, but was able to add a few common games to the collection. I do have some items coming in. I had submitted some offers online for some pretty cool titles, some really rare and exclusive ones. So I'll be happy to share those with you next week when they come in. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and enjoy the rest of this Mother's Day with the fam. It's the Y2K Collector. Again, hopefully you had a great weekend. It's been cool for me, and I will catch you in the next video. Take it easy.